A pleasant evening to everyone. Hello to our Facebook and YouTube viewers and participants, and welcome to the StackLeague GDG Bacolod Tech Session Smart Agriculture. So, hello to our viewers and participants. I am May, and I will be your host for tonight's event. I would like to remind everyone that if you have any questions regarding Stack League or anything about the session, you can type them in the comment section and later we'll address them at the Q&A session. So I know we are all so excited, but before we dive into tonight's session, we would like to give an overview of Stack League. Kina Alelojo, our marketing communication specialist, will help me with that. Take it away, Kina.
Thank you, May. And once again, good evening, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us in tonight's tech session. Once again, I'm Kina, and I will be introducing Stack League as the competition to you guys. So, Stack League is the Philippines' largest online programming league. Our mission here is to develop programming leaders that inspire the nation into coding. And this tournament is powered by StackTrick's fully automated talent analytics and assessment platform. StackLeague is now in its second competitive year, and this wouldn't be possible without the support of our partners. We are very fortunate to be supported by the top companies in the industry, and that includes our silver sponsor, Coding Chiefs, and our bronze sponsors. We have Microsoft, Deltec Systems, Apper.ph, and Recruit Day. We also have our media partners, Spark Up, Apps Gadget, What's Up Pilipinas, Corner Magazine PH, Androidist, Megabytes, Backend News, Blue Wing, and Manila Republic. The same goes for our community partners who help the league reach as many programmers in the country as possible. Of course, we work hand in hand together with all of our partners to bring you guys helpful and insightful career and tech sessions like this one that we are having tonight. So let's go to the Stack League highlights. So this pioneering programming league was launched last year on March 16, 2021, and it is now gathering over 9,000 tech talents across the country to test their coding acuity with the promise of nationwide media recognition, lots of prizes, thousands of tech job opportunities, and access to invitation-only events. And as we have announced at the official launch, our cash prize pool for Stack League 2022 is now at 10 million pesos. So this is the pot where all of the cash prizes will be coming from throughout this year-round event. Of course, one of the highlights in Stack League is the weekly stack race for both the individual and team categories. Each week, the top 10 players and the top three teams are announced all across Stack League social media platform to recognize the players who stayed on top of the rankings. Apart from this, we also have the Stack League featured programmer campaign. The weekly top 10 players are going to be featured on Stack League's website as well as in all of our social media accounts. All throughout the year, Stack League will also be hosting numerous tech and career sessions like this one tonight. And aside from this, there are also going to be exclusive trainings available for ranking up to the next challenger level. So all of those are available on our website. So just visit stackleague.com. And if you are part of the competition already and you are having difficulties leveling up to the next level of the challenger levels, you can go ahead and do the practice challenges to help you level up. And of course, to stay updated on the upcoming events of Stack League, like and follow our Facebook page. Of course, all of these trainings are free. So go ahead and leverage on that. We also have our Stack League Ambassador Program. So this one is a year-round initiative to reward Stack League challengers who go beyond the competition and inspire the nation into coding. And to tell you more about the Stack League Ambassador Program, here is a short clip for you. All right, so that is the Stack League Ambassador Program. And for this, we would recognize ambassadors of the month throughout the year. And each ambassador of the month will get a Stack League shirt and 3,000 cash. And at the end of the year, we are going to recognize the ambassador of the year who will take home a Stack League jacket and 20,000 cash. And we would like to congratulate Dominic Lopez for being the Stack League ambassador for February, winning the 3,000 cash prize and a Stack League t shirt. Now, to all of our viewers tonight who would like to be a part of, who are not yet a part of Stack League, of course, you can join us in the competition and be the next Stack League ambassador and win the cash prize and t shirt. The program is now open for March, so you can be the ambassador for the month of March. And you can find the full mechanics at our website. Just visit bit.ly/StackLeagueAmbassador 2022. Now let's go to the ranking system of the competition. So there are 5 supported programming languages in Stack League, and those are JavaScript, Java, Python, C Sharp, and PHP. Now this is how the ranking system goes in Stack League. So after signing up, of course, you start at the bottom with 0 points, and all you need to do is solve as many challenges as you can and earn the corresponding points. So the more points that you earn, the higher your ranking goes. And once you have enough accumulated points, you can now get to the next level challenges where more opportunities are unlocked for you to access. For stacking, we have 3 challenger levels. We have the bronze level, we have the silver, and the gold. And this year we have the challenger level up where we give cash prizes to our stacking challengers each time you unlock a new level. So this means that when you unlock bronze, you will earn 100 pesos. And when you unlock silver, you earn another 100 pesos. And when you reach gold, when you have unlocked gold, you then earn 300 pesos. And that means you get 500 pesos in total when you unlock all the challenger levels. We also have the Stack League Treasure Chest individual category. So this has officially opened on February 22 during the official launch, and this will end on March 26, 2022. So for the Treasure Chest, we reward all the top 10 players with 500 pesos each. And of course, we have the treasure chest team category. And each winning team will receive 1,500 cash prize. This once again has already started on February 22, and this will also end on March 26. So to all of our Stack League challengers, you still have until March 26 to earn your cash prizes when you become part of the top 10 and of course the top 3 teams when you get to those. And of course, you can read the full mechanics of the Stack League Challenger Level Up Treasure Chest individuals and teams at our website. Just visit stockleague.com. And that's it for the overview of Stack League. I would just like to remind everyone that it is not too late to join the competition. So if you are not a part of the league yet, you still have a chance to catch up. This is a year-round competition. This is a marathon of challenges. So it's not too late. Just visit our website and be a Stack League player today. See you at the virtual arena. Back to you, May.
All right. So thank you, Kina, for giving a short introduction of Stack League. And I know we are also ready, so let's not delay any further. Google Developers Group Bacolod is a nonprofit group of tech-savvy Negrenses interested in Google's developer technology, gathered as a community to meet and work with each other in learning new great things in technology. As is Stack League's mission, this community aims to inspire the aspiring developers of our country. Our resource speaker for this tech session is one of the co-organizers of Google Developer Group's Bacolod. She's also a graduate of Women Developers Academy Cohort 4, hosted by Google Developer Space Singapore. She's an Internet of Things enthusiast, doing talks and workshops about IoT and Google Assistant. As a Women Tech Makers ambassador, her advocacy is to reach and engage women to be more visible and to inspire young women to be interested in STEM. Currently, She's a software engineer working for a medical software company based in Switzerland, where they create hybrid web applications to automate medical process. To everyone, let's give a warm welcome to Miss Dairin Janagap.
Hello everyone. Maayong gabi in our dialect. So thank you so much for joining us. And now, let us start this session with me sharing my screen. Share. All right. So, smart agriculture. What is it? When we say smart agriculture, it is a farming management concept using modern technology to increase quantity and quality of agricultural products. So, yes, so a little bit about me. I am Dairin. I've been in the tech industry for quite a while now, and our community, the Google developer group Bacolod, and Women Tech Makers, we provide visibility and resources in technology to encourage innovation and creativity in the field of technology. So, next. All right. So, back way back year 2017, that's where it all started. Like friends taught me how to incorporate my codes into some hardware and began learning about it and came to a point where we also want to share what we learned by doing workshops for free. And then later on, I came to know about this Internet of Things, and we want to make it not so rocket science anymore. All right. So these are some of our activities before, and then also some of the projects we made. All right. So, all right. Maybe we can play the video. Uh,
It might look like we're inside a spaceship, but this is actually a farm. The crops here are grown mostly by machines, with the help of just a few humans, like this woman. Her life offers an early peek at a new kind of farming. It's a promising twist to an ancient career, but only if the robots don't replace her altogether. As technology replaces old jobs, it's also creating new ones. I'm Aki Ito, and I'm here to show you the jobs of the future.
My name is Katie Morich, and I'm a vertical farmer.
Katie works for a 3-year-old startup called Bowery. Its farm is here, in this industrial park in New Jersey.
How are you?
It's the last place you'd expect to find any sign of life.
We take extra precaution to make sure we're not bringing any contaminants into the farm, so we're going to wear hair nets, and then this is just going to cover all your street clothes.
Katie wears a clean uniform every day. Visitors like me are handed a non-negotiable jumpsuit.
All right.
Step inside and you'll see a cross between a factory and a lab. Trays of produce are vertically stacked to save space, and each of them is given just the right amount of light, water, and nutrients at the optimal temperature and humidity. It's an incredible level of precision, which is why Katie can grow more faster with less water and no pesticides. It's also what lets her grow things that taste like nothing you've ever had before.
What's this?
This
Arugula?
is the sorrel. That tastes like candy apple.
Whoa!
Okay.
It's so sour.
I know.
The majority of this facility is automated. The data is collected by sensors, and a computer controls growing conditions for the crops. For the things that the machines can't do yet, Katie and her fellow human farmers fill in. And even those tasks are dictated by the software that runs this whole operation.
It lets me know what I have to do, what time I should be doing it by, and that's how I get my day done.
Do you ever like rebel against the computer's orders?
Once in a while, if we're trying to do a little experiment of our own, be like, okay, is this system telling us the correct thing? Most of the time it is. All the time it's right.
After a full day at the farm, Katie likes to bring home samples to her husband, Jace, and her cat, Burton.
Salt,
Maybe
pepper,
a little more.
garlic.
On the menu are 2 items from Katie's farm: basil for pesto pasta
That's so good.
and mixed greens for a salad.
I'm terrified. Everyone's judging. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Katie fell in love with environmental science in college, but after graduating, she struggled to find a full-time career in the field.
Jace had to deal with me a lot. You know, coming home to me crying and trying to figure out if I'm making the right decisions. And then somehow online Bowery popped up.
She told me about this job, like Bowery farming. It's like an indoor vertical farm, and I was like, all right, this sounds like total BS. So I took my work truck and I said, you know what, let me swing around and see what this is all about. So I drove up to it. Doesn't look like there's a farm in there at all. So like I called her and I was like, listen, I know like you're psyched about this job, but it seems super sketchy.
But I figured I'd go and check it out for myself. And I pulled up and it was exactly as how he described, but I gave it a shot.
And so in 2017, Katie joined Bowery. She became employee number 9.
This is really my first real full-time big girl job. And it was a little intimidating at first coming into this company with people that had like their PhD, and I don't necessarily have that background. So I constantly doubted myself when I first started at Bowery.
I wasn't worried about her at all, you know. She said to us, can I do this?
And I used to tell her to have a little faith in herself.
Katie grew up in a typical New Jersey suburb with 2 working parents. They've tried to stay away from putting too much pressure on their only child.
When we heard about what she was doing and realized that this is something that didn't exist when we were younger, and I thought back for my generation, you know, PCs came out when I started working. And my parents probably would have said I was crazy if I went into an IT field at the time, but now look what happened. So it's not a good idea for us to try to tell her what to do because it's a different world.
Bowery is backed by some of Silicon Valley's top investors. And with almost $30 million of funding, the startup is expanding fast. And in May, after all that time she spent doubting herself, Katie got promoted to lead a team of her own farmers. The produce she grows supplies a few nearby grocery stores, as well as this restaurant in Manhattan. It's less than 10 miles away from the Bowery farm.
What do you think?
That's delicious.
You made that.
It's like crazy to see stuff I grew on a plate. All right, let me get some.
But for Katie, it's not just about making premium vegetables for people who can afford them.
I want people to have the purest produce imaginable, and I want that to be readily available to anybody.
The world's population is set to reach 9.8 billion people by 2050. 2/3 will live in cities. And we're gonna need all kinds of new technology to sustainably feed everyone. The key to making that food affordable is to continue to make more with fewer farmers. But no matter how high-tech all this gets, Katie thinks there will still be a place for her.
I just think there's something about the human mind that you can't really replicate. So I think we can still work closely with technology, but I still think it's nice, to have a human there. It's also be pretty lonely for the robots if they don't have anybody to talk to.
So we saw that automation allows us to do more work in less period of time. Farm automation practices can make agriculture more profitable while also reducing the ecological footprint of farming, and at the same time the site-specific application and software can reduce the amount of pesticides and fertilizers used while also reducing the greenhouse gases emission. And smart farming focuses on capturing data and interpreting them to make use to how better uh, run the farm. Right. So today what are we going to learn? We are going to learn about what is IoT, create our own simple, smart agricultural system. Uh, let's try to make or set up ThinkSpeak account, wiring, and coding. Okay, so what is IoT? Um, anyone who is already familiar with IoT? Okay, I will read the comments. So I can also know the levels and we can adjust later on. So sino na yung may idea kung ano yung IoT? Mm-hmm. All right. So when we say IoT, it is uh, about numerous physical as well as analog gadgets spread across around the globe that are presently connected through the cyber world. Essentially, the IoT allows to control any physical object, may it be a light bulb, an electric fan, or any other sensors, through the internet. One of the best examples, yes, is you can turn on and turn off the light bulb using your mobile phone instead of using a manual switch. So to achieve our own basic smart agriculture at home, we are needing two things. First, an Arduino program, and second is the ThinkSpeak. Okay? Mhm. Sino na yung may idea or nakagamit na nung Arduino? Okay. Medyo delay ata yung stream. So, let's wait lang sa mga comments. Capability of the device to share or exchange data through the internet. Yes, correct, Jericho. Hmm. Okay, so the first one is the ThinkSpeak. ThinkSpeak is like our chart where we can aggregate, visualize, and analyze the data real time. And so, like for example, we are sending data from our sensors to the ThinkSpeak, and then the ThinkSpeak would display it into some graphs. The sample is this one. So actually, this ThinkSpeak uh, has two versions. They have the mobile and then they have the web version. So on the left here, this is their mobile version, and you can see that the graph is also visible. And you can download this one on uh, Play Store. And then their web version, this is their graph also. And maybe let's do a quick setup. So this is the uh, website, thingspeak.com. If you're on your laptop, you can also check that one. And then you just click the sign in, or if you do not yet have an account, you can just create one. And then, for example, we're going to sign in. Right. So currently on my channels, this is where you will have your charting. So they call it channels. So currently I have two, the fire and gas reading and then the soil moisture data. We are going to check this one. All right. So actually, if you have downloaded already the ThinkSpeak on your mobile phone, you can just input the channel ID and you can also see real time uh, the data. So this is the data that is being shown real time. So currently, uh, my our sensors are outside, and here we have a real time data. So this is from today. Here you saw that it moved. So it's from 6:32, and it is just continually updating. Okay. So the next one. Okay. What is an Arduino? An Arduino is a single board microcontroller used by hobbyists and other IoT enthusiasts also. And this is like a board with microcontroller. And then some of the important parts is the USB port, where we use this also as to power and to upload our code into the microcontroller. So microcontroller is where our code is being uh, stored, and we have the analog and digital pins. Okay, and if we want to connect to an internet, there is also another board with built-in Wi-Fi capability, and this is called a Wi-Fi board or a WeMOS. So the same also, the USB port is also used to upload your code, and you can also use to power this board using the power jack. And this is the Wi-Fi built-in Wi-Fi module. So what are we going to need to create our simple, smart agriculture at home? So first, we are going to need our WeMOS, our board. Second, a relay. Third, our soil sensor. Fourth, our pump. And lastly, LCD to display some data. Okay, so how to do the wiring for this one? All right, so here we see that we are connecting. The black means ground, the red means power or VCC, and the yellow means data. So the yellow is the one sending data to our board. All right. So here I have a sample, like I have a plant, and then I have the pump, I have my sensor here, and then they are all connected through my WeMOS board. All right. So for the coding part, when we code using the Arduino IDE, I am classifying them into three parts. The first one are the libraries, the second part are the variables, and then the third part, our initialization. So for example, we are using the ESP8266, that is the WeMOS module. So we are just including this one. By the way, this is using C language. So our liquid crystal, so this is the LCD, liquid crystal display, And then the part where we also yes, have our Wi-Fi credentials and then some channel details. That came from our ThinkSpeak. And this is an example of conditional statement. So, for example, here we have the soil moisture value. Analog read, the A0 here, this is the pin port from our WMOS board. So, if we see that the value of the soil moisture is greater than or equal to 400, for example, so we have an enough moisture, so no need to trigger our pump. So if we go to the else part, where it is smaller than 400, so we will be needing our pump to pump some water. All right. So here, as you can see, we have two different soil sensor. Actually, the upper part is what we call the capacitive soil sensor moisture, and then the down part is that if we are going to use the ones here, though this one is a bit cheaper compared to the upper one, but uh, the the one here is not advisable for a long-term usage because of corrosion, and that is why the upper part or the upper sensor is more advisable to use. And then we have here two relays. Here we have what we call the mechanical relay. The upper part is what we call the solid state. So if we are going to compare it, para siyang HDD at SSD. Yung yung mechanical na part is ito yung HDD, at yung solid state relay naman is wala siyang mechanical parts. So mas siya, mas long lasting siya. Okay? So when we try to combine our code and our wiring, this is the output. So here I have some ginger and some calamansi, and then it will detect and auto pump some water here once nag-dry na yung soil. Okay. All right. So here, investments in agriculture are the best weapon against hunger and poverty, and they have made life better for billions of people. So we need to develop the capacity for innovation, especially to small planters. Small planters need a reachable environment for innovation, including a stable macroeconomic conditions, transparent legal and regulatory regimes, and mga access to the risk management tools and market infrastructure. I mean, if we are going to invest into something, agriculture is one of the best chains where we can really invest. And then the next one is yes. Now that we are celebrating International Women's Month, here's a little did you know that? So this is Dame Stephanie Steve Shirley. She adopted the name Steve to help her in the male-dominated business world, given that the company letters signed using her real name were not responded because she was a woman. Okay? So I guess that would be the end of our session. And if you have some questions, please ask them through the chat and we can answer them.
So thank you very much, Ms. Dairin, for that very informative and insightful presentation. And also thank you for sharing your thoughts regarding the smart agriculture system and having interest for it, given that as the technology through the years. So, all right, we are now opening the floor for questions from our participants. So, keep your questions on the comment section. You can keep your questions coming in. Okay, so for our first question from YouTube. So, hello to our YouTube viewers from Jordan Lakandula. So he asked, do we have PDF available of the diagram? I think it's from your presentation before. The diagram, the PDF, do we have PDF available of the diagram? So Miss Dairin, I think you are on mute.
Oh, so sorry. So, yeah, so I currently do not have the PDF yet, but they can follow me through my GitHub account because I'm also updating it once, yes, once in a while. And yes, I will be uploading the code and some README files also for them.
Right. Okay. So you could go to Miss Dairin's profile, and I'm sure the PDF will be available in her profile. So for our second question, from Rico Estaris. So he asked, other than Arduino, is there a new device that other developers are using?
Ah, yes, actually, if other than Arduino, there's Raspberry Pi. I will send the link. So Raspberry Pi is much stronger compared to Arduino because Arduino is a microcontroller. Raspberry Pi is microprocessor. So microprocessor is, yes, it can process, but microcontroller just controls whatever is being dictated to this one. So they can also check Raspberry Pi, but if they are new to IoT, I would really recommend to start with Arduino because Arduino is really a friendly when you are starting with software plus hardware.
All right. So thank you for your helpful question, Rico Estaris. Okay, next up is from Jai Sotolombo. So he asked, how much is the average cost of Arduino projects? I also have the idea that they can be used for the automation of our home. How would
Ah,
we approach this concept in regards to availability and affordability? And can Arduino be also used in home security? Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. With our previous session before, I presented a home security system. So there, I used a um, Ethernet shield. So that one cost around 400 or 300 pesos. The Arduino board cost around 400. Uh, yes, and then the the gas sensor around 100, 200, and then some wires, let's say. I think within 1,000 pesos, you can already create your own home security system. I also have that one in my GitHub, so they can just fork it and use that one. And actually, it is really great if they try it also with what we call a SIM 900 module. So SIM 900 module is like a GPRS module. So this one is capable to call and text. another number. So for example, if your gas or there's a fire alarm inside your house, it will trigger our sensors, and then it will send data, and then send a command to call you, or to call the fire department, or to send a message to our fire department. So that is really useful nowadays, especially that the summer is coming. So yes.
All right. So we
Mhm.
want to thank you, Jai Satolombo, for your question. Yes, so we know that it's truly helpful
Mhm.
nowadays. Yeah. So next up is Peak Aboom. He asked, "What are the basic requirements for smart agriculture project and also the costs?"
Uh-huh. So for the basic requirements, first and foremost is that you are really into it, that you really want to do it. That's really the very important thing, that you really want to do it. Second
Yeah.
is our resources. So that one, programming skills, a little bit of wiring skills, because this one is with water and electrical equipment. So that one we should have at least basic knowledge. And then for the equipment, what we should need are our soil sensor, our relay,
Mm.
uh, our pump, and actually the LCD it is just optional. But once we have our board, our sensor, our pump, we are good to go for that one.
Yes. Okay. And he also asked, ma'am, he has another question. What is best fit for smart agriculture development? Any PL?
What's PL? I platform or what? Uh,
I think it's platform, ma'am. So,
platform. Most video. What is the best fit for smart agriculture development? Um, Actually, we can really start with there's this thing that one of my friends told me that it's either we buy nice or we buy twice. There are
mm,
much greater sensors, much expensive sensors, so that sensors would last well, that sensors return data or sense yes much more, ano ba, parang mas accurate siya. So those type of sensors are much expensive, but they are also reliable. For actually for smart agricultural system, if meron ka na talagang hacienda or meron ka talagang
mm,
farm, uh, much better if yung mga ano ba, yung parang nasa mga poles na sensors, they also have that one, yung mga pole na sensors. But for example, if you're just doing it inside your house, or just parang ano lang siya ba, yung small area, Arduino would really be a good option for that one.
all right. So, Peak a Boom said in the comment that the meaning of PL is programming language. So
All
sorry.
right. All right. So for the
Peak a Boom.
programming language, Arduino is using C language, but Arduino is also capable in using Node, and they have another one called I'll send it. Uh, they also have what we call the Johnny 5. So this is a JavaScript. Um, yes, it is using JavaScript for Arduino, robotics, and other IoT platforms. So they can also check that one. And then, yes, so mainly C siya.
All right. So he also asked again.
Uh-huh.
So he asked, can we
Mhm.
use the spatial data like API of Google Map for smart farming?
Yes, Yes, we can absolutely use that one. Actually, for example, if we already have a map, like we have a square lot, for example, and then we are using uh, the longitude, latitude, like the um, yes, like the address or where it is being put into. And then, for example, if a certain area is a bit dry or a bit moist, so you can have it as uh, with red or something. Yes, there are available platforms as well for that one. And we are going to need the GPS for that one to locate the location of specific modules. And take note as different plants means different need also for the moisture they need.
Okay, all right. Um, a coming question also, he says that kaya ba ng Arduino magpatakbo ng sensors 24/7 or it requires relay device as coolant for the project?
Kaya ba ng Arduino or it requires relay device as coolant? Uh, Remembered earlier in our topic that we have two types of relay, the mechanical one and then the solid state. The mechanical one is parang ano siya, ang mechanism niya is mechanical. So, mas prone siya sa damage. Like, for example, the HDD and SSD, like, nasa-scratch siya kasi mechanical siya. Unlike if solid state siya, wala siyang mechanical mechanism na ganun. So, if you are running it 24/7, it is really recommended to use the solid state relays. And yes,
Okay.
actually, I have tried it already at my home. Like yung Arduino, turn on the lights, turn off the lights. So I tried that running for 1 week using the solid state relay, and I luckily hindi hindi nagkaapoy sa bahay. So so far, in my experience, solid state relays are really doing the job for that one. For
All right.
coolant, siguro that would be necessary if may direct heat ng sunlight, uh, because that one would be the reason for overheating.
Okay. All right. Truly, it gives us interest how smart agriculture really works. And a coming question also, he also said, wait ma'am, may framework or library ba si Arduino kay JavaScript para sa smart farming?
May library ba si Arduino para for JavaScript? Yes, that's the Johnny 5. So that one is JavaScript based. Para sa smart farming na library or framework, I haven't found one yet. But for me, it is not that complicated if we start it. Parang bang module per module, yung dahan-dahan lang, yung ano lang, paunti-unti. Then, uh, yes, then we can compile it. And pero currently, wala pa akong alam na ready na talaga na smart farming. Yes, smart farming. Kasi pag ano, usually, may mga companies na uh, specific sa smart farming, and I don't think they are making it um, open source yung system nila.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Dr. Fuentes, for your questions. We have so many questions coming in. So another question from Claude Jeremy Arago. He asked, how to maintain good plants po by doing smart agriculture at homes, or what are the best practices? Thank you.
the the main thing is that you should, before you automate something, you know the basic of it, the basic needs of a plant. Ano yung mga need niya, kailangan ba yung water level niya is this amount or not that much, because no matter how hard we try to automate something, if hindi natin alam kung ano yung basic na need ng plant, is good for nothing din siya. So for the part of how to maintain good plants by doing smart agriculture is we just try to automate the mundane processes. Kung ano lang ba yung naulit-ulit na nagagawa niya, and then we just read the data from our sensors, and then we can create some ano ba uh, yung ano ba yung mga magandang gawin, parang ganun, based sa data ng ating sensors. And what are the best practices? One of the best practices would be to ano na lang siguro, to still maintain yung need ng plants. So for example, if na-automate natin yung irrigation niya or yung watering niya, uh, kailangan din natin i-consider yung humidity. Kasi yung pinakita natin kanina is basic lang siya talaga. But once we are into agriculture, everything is a variable. Like the sun, the humidity, yung soil health natin and all, yung yes, yung ano pa, yung if prone siya sa mga insects. So that one also would be good. So first planning, and then we test, and then that's the time we implement, para hindi tayo nagsasayang nung modules, for example, kasi lacking yung test cases natin.
Yes, and I also agree to you, Ms. Dairin, that before we start anything by using smart agriculture, we really need to know the basics. So thank you, Claude, for your question. Another question from Facebook from Rainier Dale. He asked, "Is the device on 24/7? How long does it last before you need to replace parts?"
Based sa relay, yung lifespan niya. Wait lang ha. So, based sa documentation, yung relays are relays, typical signal levels will result to relay lifetime from 1 million to 10 million operations. Yun yung ano niya, yung lifespan niya according to their documentation, but that would really depend on the part of ano yung environment. Humid ba siya? Palagi ba siyang nababasa and all? Or mainit ba siya talaga or hindi? Ako hindi ko pa naranasan yung parang year long na nirun yung relay. But that would be one of the good test cases also before we go into real farms. Yung na-test case muna natin siya in a small environment, because smart automation, smart agriculture is really a research and development type of ano siya talaga. So, for 24/7, as long as siguro na maintain naman siya ng maayos, I think it would last at least a year. Yun yung parang na-imagine ko na magtatagal siya.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Rainier, for your question. So another question from Cara Mercado. Are there current projects that uses this technology and we can look into here in the Philippines, just like Bowery?
Yes. Actually, Smart Agri-Tech, may mga available na siya for small-scale farmers. Maybe they can read this article. Because I am also looking for yung mga fully automated na mga farms, and would try like to visit it and see it firsthand. And currently here in Negros, I don't think meron na talagang 100% na na automated na farming or even gumagamit ng smart farming, it is usually private sectors uh, who try this one because of well, budget, because it is really not a one time na achieve mo na siya kaagad. It would really like be years of development. And if you're into result agad, I don't think technology is like that because we are slowly developing every day.
Yes, so as technology progresses, we can have trial and errors on the way, but still we hope for result at the end of the
Yes.
day, right?
Mhm.
So, and
Mhm.
from another question, yes, from Raul Lecaros, is crop yield a good success metric to use for agri automation?
Actually, the smart agriculture really aims to tackle three main objectives. That the first one would be sustainability, that increase in agricultural productivity and income, adapting to building resilience to climate change, and reducing the greenhouse gas emission, and yes, efficiency siya talaga. Yun yung parang promise ng smart agriculture.
All right. So thank you, Raul Lecaros, for your question. Um, Dr. Fuentes still has a question. He also said, I'm planning to create an app using the Node.js. Ano bang sensor ang maka-identify ng plant leaves if it requires treatment? Meron bang Arduino sensors para doon?
Ang alam ko lang is merong pH level sensor yes, for Arduino. And I do not know if they are yes, familiar with TinyML. I will send a link. So, yung makadetermine siya ng health ng plants, especially if leaves siguro, yes, siguro if leaves baka need na nating magkaroon ng image, image recognition, where if yung leaves is parang nag-yellow na siya or nag-green na siya, we can determine that one easily siguro. Kasi yung sa industry, meron ding, for example, yung orange na bunga is meron siyang dots na black, nare-record siya nung system. Then, for example, meron siyang black dot, and then may data na tayo for that one. So that one is image, ano na siya, image, yes, processing siya. And that one would be a great tool also for determining the health of plants, especially nung leaves niya. So maybe we can use, but there could be another way also. But currently, under the heat of the sun, yun yung aking nai-imagine, yung imaging talaga.
Yes, ma'am. He also asked, so it requires a bit of deep learning po para ma-identify ang image ng leaves.
Deep learning and machine learning are, I think, medyo may pagkakaiba sila. And I am not that familiar with deep learning, and I have a limited knowledge when it comes to machine learning. And but they both um, use data to use as ano ba, yung image data, doon din sila kasi bumabase kung ano yung parang leaves na maganda, ano yung leaves na parang medyo ano siya, medyo may problema yung plant. And it's like if the data we are inputting are trash, the data we are getting is also trash. Yes, trash din siya. So maybe it require a bit of machine learning or deep learning for imaging for the leaves.
Yes. He also asked, ma'am, Are you going to recommend this to the province of Iloilo sa mga yoman?
Yoman. Are you going to recommend this in the province of Iloilo sa mga ano yung yoman? I only know several places in Iloilo. Pero ano yung yoman? Let's search. Like a small planters.
Yes,
Yes,
small
actually,
farmers, ma'am.
small farmers. Actually, yes, kasi small planters are actually the ones na yes, are the group where magandang magsimula. Because they have this certain area, and then actually based on my experience, with regards to Girl Scouting noon, and we're doing also community projects, and usually yung mga small farmers or planters are open sa mga innovations and all. It is just that parang may misconception na once mag-innovate ka, mahal siya. Hindi namin afford. So what we are going to do as tech people is to make technology available for everyone, not just for private sectors or a certain social level, but make it available for everyone. And actually, magandang return of investment yung technology if being used well. And for the province of Iloilo, um, nakapunta ako noon sa Leon, Iloilo, and somewhere around Bukhari, and parang maganda din yung place na yon. Though remote siya, but we can use solar to power our system. And that one we also minimize, or we recycle, or we use natural energy for that one. So anywhere is possible so long as gusto natin. So, may resources lang. Yun lang talaga yung parang limit eh, yung resources sa isang lugar. But nowadays, parang wala naman imposible ngayon. And yes, if that the electricity is the limitation, if the connectivity is the limitation, there's solar power. If walang Wi-Fi, we have GPRS using the SIM 900. So tower yan, radio signal siya. So yes, possible para sa akin.
Yes, and I see in the comment section that Dr. Fuentes said that this is the right time. We are in the dire times of economic crisis. Inflation rate is extremely high. Nice po. So thank you, Dr. Fuente, for your
Thank you.
questions.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. For another question, Cora Mercado asked, where can we purchase the necessary tools po? Or is this custom made?
Yung sensors, she mean mga sensors, they can just buy it on Shopee, and we have also like, wait, um, they can also go to this site, and they sell din yung mga sensors. And usually, yung mga necessary tools is parang ready-made na siya, then ikaw na lang yung parang mag-connect-connect ba sa kanila. And then coding part na lang talaga siya.
All right. So thank you, Cora Mercado, for your question. Another question from Facebook, he asked, ano po ba ang pwede paggamitan ng Arduino and Pi po?
Mhm. Arduino and Raspberry Pi, usually for automation talaga siya. Yung Arduino board is parang pwede mo na siyang iwan, then siya na lang yung gagawa. Program mo lang siya, and then siya na yung gawa niyan. So, robotics, automation, what else? Image processing, image manipulation, processing and manipulation of image for Raspberry Pi. And parang mini computer na rin kasi yung Raspberry Pi. And one of my friends also created yung 3D printer. Gamit lang yon. So, yes, actually, parang ano na siya ba, limitless, but who knows, sa bukas, ano naman yung bagong mga uh, inventions. But currently, yes, parang ganyan siya, yung automation, robotics, if if they've seen yung ano ba, yung nag-viral sa Facebook na parang with the use of their hands, maka-interpret siya ng sign language. So that one also uses yung y-x-axis na sensor na depende sa movement, i-interpret niya. So yes.
Okay, so we are taking one last question for this session. So lastly, John Ryan asks, what if there's a problem with the system? Do you have a certain steps or procedures to fix it instantaneously?
What if there's a problem with the system? Do you have a certain steps on or procedures to fix it instant? Yes. For that one, I always go with the quote from Einstein that if you understand the question, if you really understand the question, or if you really understand the bug, it would just take you a small time to solve it. Rather that in the first place, hindi mo alam yung problema. It would take you an eternity to really solve that one. So, first things first, debugging. Ano yung nagkamali? Kasi that part, importante yung lagging. So, once we have our lags, we know saan nagkamali. We can trace, and once we have suspects, then we can just go on. And for automation na mga procedures na usually magganon, parang meron lang silang yung isa nakita ko, example, lala na talaga, hindi uncontrolled na yung automation niya. Meron siyang parang main switch na mag-turn off ng whole system. So, that one is also a good test case for, yes, this one.
All right. So thank you, Jan Ryan, for your question. So that's it for our Q&A session. Thank you to everyone for your questions. And thank you, Miss Dairin, for
Thank
answering our
you.
participants' question. And of course, for that very insightful presentation.
Thank you so much also. Actually, the Q&A part is the most important for me rather than showing that I did it, that I made it working kasi it would do nothing for them if makita lang nila na gumagana siya and all. But Q&A, like batuhan ng knowledge, is actually what technology is all about. Collaborations, yes, and all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Miss Dairin, for sharing your thoughts.
Mhm.
All right. So thank you, everyone, from our YouTube viewers and our Facebook viewers for your questions. So let's go to our announcements. So here are the upcoming announcements for the month of March. So StackLeague PWA Pilipinas Learning Web Development Top Down, which is happening on March 16, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Next is also StackLeague Byte AdmuTech Session Building a Minimum Viable Product on March 23, Wednesday at 6 p.m. We also have on March 24 is StackLeague Microsoft Tech Session Cloud 101 on March 24, Thursday at 6 p.m. Lastly, StackLeague Draper Startup House Future Economy in the Metaverse and Why It Matters in the Philippines on March 30, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Truly, there is plenty of opportunities for you to learn in StackLeague. So you can go to fb.com/StackLeague/events for the registration details and get the latest updates. Also, StackLeague Ambassador for March is now open and accepting entries, so you could earn your ambassador points now. Do visit bit.ly/StackLeague StackLeague Ambassadors 2022. Also, make sure to earn league points to unlock the challenger levels and receive the prizes. So that's all for our announcements this March. So thank you to everyone for joining the StackLeague GDG Bacolod Tech Session Smart Agriculture. If you don't have a StackLeague account yet, make sure to sign up now at stackleague.com. And of course, invite your friends and family who you think should be part of the league. So I am May, and see you guys at the next StackLeague event. Good night, everyone.